You poisoned my wife!
No, Papa, I swear!
Ah! You wicked child!
I didn't want her to die.
The village of Umudara was quiet after sunset. Only the sound of crickets, frogs, and distant talking could be heard under the moonlight. Inside one small hut with a leaking thatched roof, 18-year-old Amara sat beside her mother's raffia bed. The lantern flickered weakly near them.
Mama, please drink water. I'm fine, my daughter. But you're not. I will be. Just rest.
But she wasn't. For many months sickness had eaten her slowly. The village herbalist tried. The church prayed. Neighbors contributed money. But nothing worked. Every morning before sunrise, Amara trekked to the stream, fetched water, cooked, and sold roasted corn in the village square just to help her mother survive. And every night she prayed to God. Please don't let my mother die. But heaven stayed silent.
Please don't let my mother die.
That night heavy rain began suddenly. Water started dripping through the roof. Amara rushed around placing clay pots under the leaks. Then she noticed the silence.
Mama?
Her mother's eyes were open, but lifeless. Amara froze. Then panic exploded inside her.
Mama? Mama? Mama, wake up!
Her scream pierced through the rainy night. Neighbors rushed into the hut immediately. Women held Amara tightly as she cried and rolled on the floor.
My mother cannot leave me. Amara, we're here. Hold on. Shh, Amara, we're with you. No, please!
But she already had. And from that night onward, nothing in Amara's life remained the same. 3 months later, the hut no longer felt like home. Her father had changed completely. Before, Mr. Okafor was known as a cheerful palm wine tapper. Now he spent most evenings drinking local gin at the village center. Sometimes he returned home drunk and angry. Sometimes he didn't return at all. Amara learned to survive quietly. One evening, while preparing yam porridge outside, she heard laughter approaching. Her father appeared beside a woman. A tall light-skinned woman wearing colorful wrappers and heavy beads. Her perfume filled the compound immediately.
This is Vivian.
So this is the girl?
Not your daughter. Just the girl. Something inside Amara tightened. A few weeks later Vivian moved into the hut as Mr. Okafor's new wife. From the very first day, Amara's suffering began.
Amara! Who told you to use my dried fish?
I only use small.
Never touch my things without asking.
Yes, ma.
You thief! I'm sorry, ma. You think food falls from heaven? I'm sorry.
Amara looked toward her father who sat under the mango tree drinking palm wine. He heard everything, but said nothing. That silence hurt her more than the slap itself. Days passed. Vivian became worse. She insulted Amara constantly.
You look exactly like your useless mother. You eat too much. No man will marry a skinny thing like you.
Sometimes she gave Amara only leftover food after everyone had eaten. Sometimes she woke her before dawn to sweep the entire compound alone. One afternoon Amara returned from the stream carrying water on her head. Then she froze. Her school books were outside in the dirt. Goats had stepped all over them. My books, she cried. Vivian stood proudly with folded arms. Since school has made you stubborn, focus on housework instead. Amara's chest tightened painfully. You threw them outside. And what will you do? Amara looked desperately toward her father. Papa. But he avoided her eyes completely. Vivian smirked victoriously. That was the first day true hatred entered Amara's heart. That night Amara cried silently on her mat. Then footsteps entered the hut. Her father stood there awkwardly. For 1 second she felt hope. Maybe he came to comfort her.
Buy another notebook.
Papa, why don't you love me again?
Don't stress me, Amara.
Then he walked away. and something inside her broke forever. Months later, Vivian announced she was pregnant. The entire compound changed immediately. Her father became happy again. Neighbors congratulated them daily. Meanwhile, Amara became invisible.
Don't stress your stepmother. Fetch more water. Wash her clothes. Massage her legs.
Yes, Papa.
Every single day. Vivian enjoyed it. One afternoon, she intentionally poured hot soup water on Amara's hand.
I'm sorry, oh. Once I give your father a son, you will become nobody in this house.
Vivian smiled proudly and walked away. That evening, Amara sat alone under a tree near the village path. An old woman carrying herbs stopped nearby.
My daughter, why are you crying?
I'm fine.
No, somebody's hurting you deeply. There are certain leaves that can make wicked people suffer.
Amara looked slowly at the herbs. Thunder rumbled in the distance. And for the very first time, a terrible thought entered her mind. What if Vivian disappeared forever? What if peace returned to the hut again? What if she poisoned her stepmother? That night, Amara could not sleep. The old woman's words echoed endlessly inside her mind.
There are certain leaves that can make wicked people suffer. There are certain leaves that can make wicked people suffer.
Amara stared at the roof silently. Could she really poison someone? No. It was evil. But then another voice inside her whispered, Vivian destroyed your life. You have suffered enough. Amara covered her ears tightly. But the thoughts refused to stop. The next morning, Vivian shouted before sunrise.
Amara! My back is hurting. Go to the stream and fetch water before the sun becomes hot.
Yes, ma.
That girl is practically my servant now. I can't believe she said that.
Later that afternoon, she overheard another conversation.
She's becoming too stubborn.
She's still mourning her mother.
And what about me? I'm carrying your child while feeding another woman's daughter.
Then Vivian said the words that shattered her completely.
After this planting season, she should stop school and learn trade work.
You may be right.
She quietly stood and walked away before they noticed her tears. That evening, Amara returned to the old woman's hut near the forest path. The woman looked up immediately. I knew you would come back.
Hatred is dangerous, my daughter. She wants to destroy my life. Only little quantity. Too much can kill. I don't poison her to die.
A cold fear entered Amara's chest. But she still took the herbs. That night, Vivian demanded herbal tea. Amara. Yes, ma. Prepare hot tea for me. This pregnancy is stressing me. Amara entered the smoky kitchen hut slowly. The wrapped leaves felt heavy inside her blouse. Her heart pounded loudly. This was the moment. She boiled water over the firewood. Added herbs. Added milk. Then slowly, her trembling fingers reached for the poison leaves. Her conscience screamed immediately. Stop. But another voice whispered louder. She deserves it. Amara poured a tiny amount inside the tea. Immediately fear gripped her chest. What if she died? What if villagers found out? What if God punished her forever? Panicking, Amara almost threw the tea away. But then Vivian shouted angrily from outside. Are you sleeping there? Amara froze. Then slowly carried the calabash cup outside. Vivian collected the tea carelessly while gossiping with neighbors. Amara stood nearby nervously. Sweat covered her body despite the cool night breeze. Vivian drank once. Twice. 3 times. Nothing happened. Amara slowly relaxed. Maybe the herbs were weak. Then suddenly Vivian frowned. My stomach. Amara's heartbeat stopped. Vivian grabbed her wrapper tightly. Then screamed loudly. Oh! The cup crashed onto the ground. Neighbors jumped in shock. My stomach. Vivian began sweating heavily. Her father rushed toward her immediately. Vivian. She collapsed violently onto the dusty ground. Chaos exploded inside the compound.
Carry her! Call the herbalist! She's pregnant!
We need help! Hurry!
To the hut, move!
Amara stood frozen in one corner, her body shaking uncontrollably. This was not how she imagined it. Fear swallowed her completely. The village herbalist arrived quickly. After checking Vivian carefully, his face became serious. She has been poisoned. Silence fell instantly across the compound. Amara's blood turned cold. Poisoned. Her father slowly turned toward the crowd. Then his eyes landed on Amara. And for one terrifying moment, it felt like he already knew. The compound was silent. Too silent. Only the sound of crickets and Vivian's painful groaning could be heard from inside the hut. Villagers stood outside whispering nervously. Poison. Who could do such a thing? She almost lost the baby. Amara stood near the mango tree shaking quietly. Her heart refused to calm down. The village herbalist slowly stood up after examining Vivian again.
She needs rest. Nobody should give her food from unknown hands for now.
Unknown hands. The words pierced Amara like a knife. Then suddenly, Amara, her father's voice. Cold. Sharp. Dangerous. Amara looked up slowly. Mr. Okafor's eyes burned into hers. Come here. Her legs felt weak immediately. She walked toward him carefully while villagers watched. Did you prepare the tea? Amara swallowed hard. Yes. Papa. And nobody else touched it. The entire compound became silent. Amara's heartbeat pounded violently. I prepared it alone. Vivian suddenly cried out from inside the hut. My stomach. The women rushed toward her immediately. That distraction saved Amara. For now. Later that night, heavy rain fell across Umudoro village. Thunder shook the trees violently. Inside the hut, Vivian lay sweating on the raffia bed while elderly women surrounded her. Amara sat quietly in one dark corner pretending to sleep. But her mind was screaming. What have I done? She never wanted this. She only wanted Vivian to suffer a little. Not die. Not lose the baby. Tears filled her eyes slowly. Then she heard whispers. She's lucky to survive. Somebody in this compound hates her. Amara covered her ears tightly. Fear swallowed her whole. The next morning the village changed completely. Rumors spread everywhere. At the stream. At the market. At the palm wine spot. Somebody poisoned Mr. Okafor's wife. Maybe it was jealousy. Maybe witches. Maybe enemies. Amara could feel eyes following her everywhere she went. Even children stared at her strangely. She avoided everyone. Except Adis. That afternoon Adis found Amara sitting alone behind the hut. Her eyes were swollen from crying.
Amara, I'm fine. You've been saying that since your mother died.
What really happened that night? What do you mean? People are talking. Do you believe them? I believe you're angry enough to do something dangerous. I didn't kill anybody! What did you put inside that tea? You actually did something? I only wanted her to stop hurting me! Jesus Christ. I didn't know it would become this serious. If anybody hears this, your life is finished.
Amara cried harder. I'm scared. For the first time since her mother died, Amara looked like a frightened child again. That evening Vivian finally woke up properly. But something was wrong. Very wrong. She sat quietly staring into space while elderly women prayed beside her. Then suddenly she whispered. She tried to kill me. The women exchanged nervous glances. Who? Vivian slowly turned toward the door. Toward Amara. The entire hut froze instantly. Amara's blood ran cold. No, she whispered weakly. Vivian's eyes narrowed. It was her. Panic exploded immediately. Amara. Impossible. That girl. Mr. Okafor stood up violently.
You poisoned my wife!
No, Papa, I swear!
Ah! You wicked child!
I didn't want her to die.
Then suddenly an elderly voice thundered from outside. Enough. Everybody turned. Mom and Kechi stood at the entrance. Rain dripped slowly from her dark wrapper. Her eyes looked strangely calm. Then she said something that changed everything. The girl is not the only one hiding secrets. The entire compound fell silent. Vivian's face changed instantly. Fear. Real fear. Mom and Kechi stepped closer slowly. Then pointed directly at Vivian.
This woman is not innocent. You old witch, leave my house! A house built on lies never stands long.
What lies?
Ask your wife what happened in her former village. I said leave! Years ago, before Vivian came to Umudara, she lived in Obierika village with another man.
What?
That man suddenly died after a strange sickness. After his death, his family accused Vivian of poisoning him. They are lies! She ran away before the elders completed their investigation. Jesus, so she has done this before? She's trying to destroy me. No, truth is destroying you.
Later that night, Mr. Okafor sat alone outside under the mango tree drinking heavily. Rainwater dripped slowly from the leaves above him. Vivian approached carefully.
Baby,
Don't call me that.
you know village people hate beautiful women. You believe that old woman over me.
Did you poison your first husband?
No.
Then why did you run away?
Meanwhile, Amara sat alone inside the kitchen hut crying quietly. Her hands still trembled from fear. Adis entered carefully.
You need to run away. What? Your father almost killed you tonight. I deserve it. No. Listen to me carefully. You made a terrible mistake. What if Mama Kechi is telling the truth?
The next morning, Umudara village exploded with gossip. Women discussed Vivian at the stream. Men argued at the palm wine center. Even children whispered as she passed. Murderer. Poison woman. Vivian could feel judgment everywhere. For the first time since entering the village. People feared her. And she hated it. That afternoon, Vivian secretly entered the old storage hut behind the compound. She looked around nervously before kneeling beside an old basket. Then she pulled out something wrapped carefully inside cloth. Amara watched secretly through a small crack in the wooden wall. Her heartbeat slowed instantly. It was a bottle. A strange dark liquid bottle.
I told you never to ruin my life again. Again? Who's there? Ah! Come back here!
She collided into someone. A tall young man carrying firewood. The firewood scattered everywhere. Ouch! Amara looked up quickly. And froze. The young man was unbelievably handsome. Tall. Dark-skinned. Broad shoulders. The young man frowned.
What is happening here?
Vivian quickly hid her fear behind a fake smile. Nothing. But Amara knew what she saw. Vivian was terrified. And whatever was inside that bottle could destroy everything. The rain fell heavily across Umudara village. Thunder shook the trees while villagers hurried inside their huts. But inside Amara's heart, the storm was worse. She couldn't stop thinking about the bottle. The fear in Vivian's eyes. The words she whispered. I told you never to ruin my life again. Who was she talking to? And why did it sound like confession? That evening, the handsome stranger returned to the compound with the forgotten firewood. Amara watched him quietly from the kitchen hut. Up close, he looked even more attractive. He had rich dark skin with soft rain droplets shining across his face and strong arms. His name was Daniel, a traveler from a nearby village helping his uncle during harvest season. Mr. Okafor welcomed him politely. But Vivian looked uncomfortable the moment she saw him. Very uncomfortable. Then Daniel said something shocking.
I think I've seen you before.
No, you're mistaken.
You used to live in Obrika village, right? You were married to Chief Nana. You know her? My uncle was Chief Nana's friend.
I'm tired.
That night Amara could not sleep. Something terrible was hidden inside this house. And she needed answers. Around midnight she quietly sneaked toward the storage hut. Rain dripped softly from the roof while thunder flashed across the compound. Amara entered carefully holding a lantern. The bottle was still there. Beside it was an old cloth bag. With shaking fingers, she opened it. Then froze instantly. Inside were letters. Old letters. One fell open onto the floor. Amara picked it up slowly. And her blood turned cold. The letter was from Vivian's late husband. The handwriting was shaky. If anything happens to me, Vivian should be questioned. Amara covered her mouth in horror. Another lightning flash illuminated the hut. Then suddenly, "What are you doing?" Amara screamed. Vivian stood at the entrance. Her eyes looked terrifying. Cold. Exposed. Dangerous. "You should have minded your business," Vivian whispered slowly. Amara backed away in fear. "You killed him." Vivian laughed bitterly. "He was wicked." Her voice cracked emotionally.
He beats me every single day. You think suffering only happened to you? He wanted to sell my land and marry another woman. I was trapped. So you poisoned him. When I saw your father becoming weak like my first husband, I became afraid. What do you mean? I was poisoning your father slowly too.
But after you poisoned me, everything scattered. Amara staggered backward in horror. The entire time, Vivian had been poisoning her father. Suddenly footsteps approached outside. Mr. Okafor entered the hut and stopped completely.
I was angry!
Listen to me.
You tried to kill me!
What's happening? I was angry!
You killed another man too!
Stop!
Vivian broke and nodded. Gasps erupted outside the hut. Mr. Okafor looked completely destroyed. Everything he believed shattered in one night. Then suddenly he turned toward Amara.
I failed you.
I'm suffering.
I'm so sorry.
Amara immediately broke down crying. All the pain she buried since her mother's death exploded out of her. Mr. Okafor pulled her into his arms tightly. And for the first time since Mama Grace died, Amara finally felt like somebody's daughter again. By morning, village elders took Vivian away to face judgment. Some villagers pitied her. Others feared her. But everyone agreed on one thing. Pain had destroyed everybody in that house. Weeks later, peace slowly returned to the compound. Mr. Okafor stopped drinking. Amara returned to school. And sometimes during sunset, she sat quietly under the mango tree thinking about everything that happened. Hatred. Pain. Revenge. Secrets. One terrible decision had nearly destroyed many lives. But somehow, the truth finally set them free.